Welcome to TechbrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn a lot of things. First of all, we are going to learn how to create your Azure SSIS IR and use SSIS package deployed into the Azure files. So why we do that? Because we are creating some SSIS packages and then we need to move the data between Azure SQL Server, maybe between Azure files and all that. And we would like to deploy these SSIS packages to the Azure SSIS IR so we can use these packages in the Azure. Now, we are it give us a lot of opportunities to save our SSIS package in different places, such as SSIS DB on Azure, on the managed instance, on our file share on, and one of them is Azure Files. So we are going to explore all those details about the Azure Files. But in the Azure files, you have multiple options. One of them is if you have created your SSIS packages with the file package deployment. So remember that in 2005 or later versions, we created our SSIS packages with the package deployment before in 2012 the project deployment mode came in the existence. So still people were creating SSIS packages and creating the configuration files, and those configuration files were same in different information such as variable value you can change at the runtime and provide those in production UAT and all that. So Azure SSIS IR is giving us that option. If you want to create your SSIS packages in package deployment mode, you can create them and then use the configuration files. And then finally, we are going to learn how to deploy those packages and configuration files to the Azure file share. And then at the end, we will create the pipeline to use those packages which are saved in the Azure share. So I'm going to start from scratch. There are a lot of components you will be able to follow if you are new to this Azure environment. So you can learn a lot of things beside what we have explained in the notes. So first of all, my Azure Data Factory is ready, but I need a server. Why? Because I want to create some source database and destination database from where I would like to read and write the data. So I'm going to go to the SQL, and you can skip this component if you know how to do that, and then jump after some time, like maybe 3-4 minutes, and you will be ending up in the actual demo. Now go to the resource group here, and here you're going to select the database name. In this case, I'm going to call it TechbrothersIT DB. Okay, so that's the name of our database. I have to create a server, so I'm going to call this one a TechbrothersIT server, and we will use some user, DB user, and password. So in the password, I'm saying test123 $. That's my password, test123 $. So this password we will use in the configuration. So I will show you how to change that in case you have to have some database name change or some password change or anything what you want to deploy, right? Because right now, let's say you are deploying to this server, right? And then maybe you want to take the same package to the another server, and there is a different username. So how you would change that? So you can have a opportunity to do that. So I'm going to show you in the package. Okay, so that's our configuration. We are going to create a very basic. We don't want to pay a lot of money. So this is what we are going to do here, and hit create. Now our SQL database will be created soon, and then we are going to create one more database there that I'm going to call it a destination. So our Azure, once we have Azure server name, we are going to connect from the Visual Studio and then create a second database and create a table. So meanwhile, what I can do, I can go ahead and actually create maybe a table there, a definition. So we go to the new query, and I'm going to call it a create table and db.customer, and this will have ID, integer, name, worker. So not whole lot column. I just want to use this for testing. Okay, so go actually insert into dbo.customer, and the values 1 Amir. That's all I have right now. Okay, so this table is created, and in the other database, I'm going to create the same table, we call it destination. So we read from one database table and write to another one. That's what we are going to do. So once our database is ready, we will create that. Now let me go back to the portal, and here it is still in progress, so let it finish first. So our server is ready. Still the database is in under progress, but we can connect to the server. So I'm going to copy this server, I'm going to click on this server, and here I'm going to take this name and then connect from the SSIS. So I'm going to disconnect these guys. This is my on-premises, so I'm going to connect to the Azure SQL DB from the from my SSMS that's on my prem. So username is TB user, and our 123 $, that's what our username is. This ask can have my username, so log in. For that I'm going to click on that, and then it's gonna ask you want to sign in. Yes, hit OK, and now it will be connected. Meanwhile I can see that let me go right there, and our database is completed, everything is good to go. So now we are right here in SSMS. In the SSMS we have one database, it's called TechbrothersIT DB. I can go ahead and create my table there and insert one row. This database can be used as a source database. So click right there, new query, and run this. Now we are all good. It has only one record. We can keep adding a new records if we want for testing purpose. So we'll do that. And now I need to create another table. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this definition and create a destination table in some other database. So I'm going to go to new query and say create a database, and I'm going to call it the destination. So I can call it DEST. That's all I need to call. And once this database is created, I'm going to create a table in it. Okay, our database is created, and I'm going to refresh. I'm going to go to this database destination and create this table. So now we have one table here and one table here in the destination. I'm going to read the data from TechbrothersIT DB and write to the destination call table. Now first of all I need to create an SSIS package. So I'm going to open my Visual Studio 2017, and here I'm going to go to File, New Project. So go to the SSIS project, and I'm going to call it Package Deployment SSIS project. Okay, so I will remember that. Now hit OK, and now don't save the other one. I'm fine with that. Now what I can do, I can actually go ahead and convert this package to the package. So convert to the package deployment mode, because I am really not using a project here, and what I need to do is I need to use a package deployment. So once I do that, what's going to happen, you are going to see right there all those parameters parts has gone and everything. So now I'm left with only the packages. So I'm going to double click here, and now I can work on my package. This what we need a data flow task here, and then we are going to create a connection with our server, and our server name we already know that. I'm going to open it, and right here that's our server. Copy the server name, and now go to the Visual Studio, and here we are going to bring OLEDB source. So from the OLEDB source right there we have OLEDB source, and then we need OLEDB destination. So we are going to double click on OLEDB source, create a new. I'm going to delete this connection. I'm going to create a new one, and if you guys remember, that's my server name. So that's my Azure server. So SQL authentication, provide TB user, and our password is a test123 $. And here we have that Tech Brothers. Here we have a database now called the TechbrothersIT DB. So hit test connection, and it's all good. Now we are gonna hit OK, and here I can select the table name. There is only one table that we created with customer. It has only one record. So our source is ready. Now we are going to connect to the destination, and in the destination what we need to do, we need to create a new connection, because we are connecting to a different database. So same server but different database. So provided the username, and it's going to be test123 $, and now our database name is the destination, DEST. We are going to hit test connection, hit OK, hit OK, hit OK, and now select that table. Remember that destination underscore customer is the table. Go to mapping, and now you can map we are all good. It's looking good. And what we can do here is our that's the one let me check that right now. That's our source. So I can always change and make a little better. Can I call it go to rename, and I can call this one a dbb underscore source db or whatever, and here I can come and call this guy rename dbb underscore dest db. Okay, so that tells me this is my source connection, this is my destination. I can always add a database name here. That's actually a good thing to do. Now if I run my package, we can simply execute the package, and once the package is executed, we can go right there, and this table should have one record because it read the data from our Azure source database and then have written the data to the our destination table right there. So this is good. So what we can do, we can truncate now again. So because our SSIS package is working, now we go back to our Visual Studio. We can see that it completed. That's why it was it had written one record in the destination. Next part is we might would like to have few things such as now I'm going to go ahead and create a variable, and I'm going to call it user. So because you need to deploy this package to the another maybe pipeline and all that different environment, and you need to change the username. You might not have TB user in all the environments. So my in prod, maybe there would be prod underscore TB user, maybe another one. So here I'm creating another variable. So I'm creating two variables. So let's go ahead and create these two variables, and the other variable is the password. Okay, so remember that we are going to pass the password value. In the username we will say TB user, and here we will say test 123. So I'm just hard coding for now, but when you will deploy to the UAT or prod and other environments and on the Azure, you or might change your usernames and all that. So that's why I'm providing it. I'm going to create the configuration file so people can change it when they need to use it. Okay, now what we are going to do here, we are going to use these values in the connection manager. So go to the source connection, go to properties, and in the properties we go to connection string, and there we can use it. So let me go to the right here, go to the connection. Here I'm going to say username, and I can navigate. And now once I navigate to the variables, I can use this variable here. Okay, so double click or actually drag it here. So we are all good here, and then I'll go for the second and let's use the password. So right there, use the password, and here is our password. So I'm going to bring the password mapping. Okay, so same thing what we are going to do, we are going to do our second connection for the destination. So in case you have a different database name, different username for this destination, you will be using a different usernames and passwords and all that. So in my case, I have actually the same um, server, and they are on this different database. So that's all. But in your case, it could be even server could be different. But in my case, it's the same server. So I'm using just mapping this user and password. So I do things from very basic all the way so people understand. Sometimes people don't have, or a lot of guys like me, they don't have knowledge about creating, parameterizing, and everything. So that's one of the reason I go from scratch and do it. Now, if you run this package, it is going to just work fine because we have provided exact username and password. If you will make a change, it will fail. So let's say if I will say now if I try to execute this package, it's going to fail. Why? Because I have changed the password. So test 123, and I remove the dollar sign. So it is not going to be able to run that because it cannot acquire the connection. So it failed. So that's shows it's working. It's using our variables here. Now next step, I need to create the configuration file so I can deploy anywhere, and whenever I need to change these username and passwords, I can change. So right click here in the pane, and you're going to go to the package configuration. In the package configuration, you're going to say enable package configuration, add, and next. And now we are creating XML configuration file. So there are different configuration files available, but what we are going to do, we are going to stick to the XML configuration. because on the Azure we will just upload the Azure XML file and make changes whatever we needed to. Now here it is asking where you would like to create that configuration file. So I'm going to go to my desktop. In the desktop I have a folder created SSIS package config deployment, and I can create my configuration file there. So I can delete this. I don't need this, and I'm going to call this guy. Let me call config underscore my package name. So I'm going to call this pkg underscore customer. Okay, so that's the name of my configuration file. Hit save, and now it's going to ask you, hey, what values you would like to save. So right here, if you open it, it gives you a lot of options. So you have connections. You can actually could have saved the entire connection string, but in my case, I am using the variables here. So if you click right there, expand it, I'm gonna save the value for my this password variable, and same thing I would like to save the value for my username. So you see right there, so that's what I'm doing there. So here it is asking what is the name you want to give to this configuration, and these are the two properties that we're talking about. So I'm going to call it as user credential. Okay, so hit finish, and now it's hit close, and it's all done. Let's rename our SSIS package. So if we do that, we are going to call this one pkg underscore customer. So give some better name. So what we are going to do now, we are going to rebuild the solution, and our package is ready, and our configuration is ready. Now, as of now, what we were doing, we were running this SSIS package on our on-premises Visual Studio, but we were connecting to the Azure SQL databases. Now, this is the time where we will take our SSIS package and deploy to the Azure. Now let's go to the Azure Data Factory here, and we need a space or a place where we can save this SSIS package. So what we need, first of all, we need a storage account. So once we are going to click on storage, it's going to let us create a storage. So create new storage, and in this case, I'm going to call this storage. Let me go to the resource group, and here we will call it SSIS packages storage. Okay, that's what it's going to be. East US standard. We are not doing anything fancy here. We are just creating this very basic valid information required. What is that? Previous. So let me go bit basic. Not sure what it is. We have a storage name, region, standard, make access request. What is this guy? Okay, this is the name is already taken, but it should have thrown error, but it's not. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go back to the storage account here. I'm gonna create a new one, and I'm going to create maybe something different. I'll call it TBIT SSIS packages. Okay, so let's see if this space is available. So now we should be good. It's running the validation, and it's all good. Now this storage will be created, and inside this storage, what we are going to do, we are going to create Azure file storage, or what you call the, let's see, file system or whatever. So that's what we are going to create, where our SSIS packages will be deployed. So we have the package already ready. We have configuration, and next step is we are going to put that package and the configuration on the Azure Blob storage. So our resource is ready, and once we are in the resource, what we can do here, let me see, it's called the TBIT storage right there. So we can see now what we are going to do, we are going to go to the file shares. In the file share, we are going to create a new file share. So create new file share, and I'm going to call this package deployment SSIS. Okay, so maybe, okay, what it is, P capital. So now it's all good. Hit create, and now it's creating. It has been created, and now that's where we are putting our SSIS package and our configuration file. So go to the what we are gonna do. I need to find this package path. So package path. Click on package. Here is the package path. So I'm gonna copy. Go back to my storage here. Upload, and now I'm gonna navigate to the package file. So right here I'm gonna paste and then remove the package. Just go to the folder, and here is my package. So PKG customer, hit open and upload. Second part, remember that we have to upload the configuration file. So I'm gonna navigate to that. Let's go to my desktop. In the desktop, remember that I have that folder, so it's called the deployment folder, SSIS deployment, and that's our configuration file. Okay, so hit upload, and now our package and the configuration is ready. Next part is we are going to go to the Azure Data Factory. Go to the Azure Data Factory, open, and now we will be creating our SSIS IR, and then telling this SSIS IR you have to read this package and configuration from the Azure file storage. So we are going to go right here, and then we are going to go to the integration runtime, and this is the first time. It's a brand new. I have not created anything, so I'm going to show you everything from scratch. So click on new, go to the Azure SSIS, and here you will be seeing I'm going to call this one SSISIR file system or file share. Okay, so that's done. East US, select the size of the node that will be running your SSIS packages. In my case, I would like to go with the one node number, and you can click on this. So we have the node, and now we are going to select two cores. So very small configuration, and hit next. You can always select multiple nodes and all that if you needed, but I don't have a whole lot of packages, so I'm not worried. If you have a lot of packages, think about scale of deployment on premises, and nowadays SSIS is providing. So you can have multiple nodes and running your packages parallel. So node number is 1, hit next, and here we are going to do, we are not going to use this part. We are going to do this create SSIS package store to manage your SSIS packages that are deployed in the file system. That's what we are doing, and Azure files and SQL. So we are not actually, sorry, we are not doing file system. We are doing Azure files. So I will have another demo where we will use the file system, in which you have a VM and create some file share and put your SSIS package and call from there. In this case, so we have created the Azure file share, and we are using that. Now, if you want to see other like how to do this SSIS DB and all that, I have a video there you can watch in the playlist. I'm going to uncheck that box and bring this box. So now it is asking us, hey, give me more information. What exactly you want to do? I'm going to go to the next and hit new, and it is asking me package store name. So I'm going to call this SSIS package store. So whatever the name you want to give, so it will tell you. I can also say Azure file store, Azure file store. Okay, now file share. Now here you have to create the link service. So here you have to tell where exactly is that Azure file share. So we are going to tell, see right here, to give you options of Azure file storage, Azure SQL managed instance, and file system. Here we are going Azure file storage. So you see right there, and if I do a file system, it totally changed. It asks me to provide me host name and your share folder. So you understand the difference. In this case, if you do file system, you would need a VM or somewhere where you need to put those packages and have a file share. But we are using Azure file storage. So click right there, integration, auto integration runtime and all that good. My subscription name, and then my storage name. So we have created this storage name, TBIT SSIS packages. Now let's go further and select the file share. So here is a package deployment. That's our file share, and we should test it. And it's testing right now, successful, and create. Now once this linked service is created, now what we can do, we are going to add, and we are all good here. So you see right there, that's where our packages are going to be sitting, and now, and this is Azure files. So good, and we are going to hit continue. So once we hit continue, it's asking how many parallel executions per node. I have only one node, and I'm fine if I run only two parallel executions. I am not setting up any of these guys. I have set up self-hosted IR as a proxy, and I have created a video on that. If you want to watch these scenarios, you can go ahead and watch those. But in this case, I'm going to just use two parallel executions and hit next. This is all configuration, and I'm going to go ahead and create our SSIS. So you guys understand now what is happening here. We have created our SSIS package that can read the data from Azure, write the data to the Azure, and now what we are doing, we have taken those packages and configuration and put into the Azure file share. So after putting the file share, we want to use them, right? So we have to create that SSIS IR. So once we create the SSIS IR, it will be able to use these packages and run them for ourselves. So we can get the data from Azure and load the data to the Azure. So now after creating your packages, deploying to this, your on-premises part is gone. Your packages are on the Azure and everything on the Azure, so you're good to go and run your SSIS packages on daily basis from the SQL, from the Azure pipeline. So we are going to create the pipeline and schedule one to show you how to do that. Our Azure SSIS is ready. Let's take a look. Click on this monitoring, and then you can see a lot more details. It's a status running. It's type Azure SSIS East US is the region where it created. Node configuration is right there, and all the nodes are running. And here is package store, only one. You could have add multiple package store and then use in the pipeline whenever you needed. But in my case, I have added only one package store, so I can only use the packages from the Azure file share. Okay, so we are all set here. We are going to go to the author now, and in the author we are going to create the pipeline. Go to the pipeline, and now what we are going to do here, we are going to say execute SSIS package. Click right there, and now we are going to go to settings. In the settings, let's take a look. So first of all, we will be selecting Azure SSIS IR, and we have only one of that SSIS IR file share that we have created. And then you can do Windows authentication. I'm not doing anything Windows related to Windows 32-bit. If you want to run your package in 32-bit, you can use it. Now it tells us where is your package location. So just over your mouse at location of your package or project. In my case, I am using file system, and it's a package. So it's not a project. Remember, we have done created our packages in the package deployment mode. So that's what we are needing to do. So file share, okay, file system and package that we selected. Now it is asking you, hey, where is your package path? The UNC path of your package file with the DTS extension, for example, Azure files, and provide that information. So I can browse to file storage. So right there, my subscription, my account, and here is letting me go to the file shares, and that's where it is. Okay, so we have right there, and our package should be there. It should show us a .dt exec package. So see right there, package customer and .dt exec. Hit open. Now it is asking you which configuration file you would like to use. In my case, I'm going to go to browse file storage, and again do the same thing. Go to the, and here I'm going to look for .config file. So this time it recognized the dts.config file right there for my package. Now this is all good, and this is your domain, the domain to access your project packages configuration. For example, if you store them in Azure file, the domain is Azure, and then this is your username, the username to access. So this is coming back to your Azure storage. So TBIT, that's automatically filled, and here is the key. So in case you need to change that, so where it is, you go to the storage, and here is storage and access keys, and now you're gonna go to the show keys and copy this key. So that's what the key is. This key is right there used. So that's what you're gonna use right there. Now there are tons of other options. You have saved your past domain in Azure Key Vault, the other username in Key Vault, and all that. It's good to use them because in a different pipeline that you're going to use for your UAT, QA, prod, you will be changing these values, or you have to hard code and retype it. So that's why I was saying, like, it's good to have even configuration file and everything, so you can change the things on dynamic and make it life easy. So if your encryption password, if your package is encrypted, you can use that right there. Login information, you can have different type of login, basic, verbose, and performance. So and then you have if you want to write the logs to some folder, you can always do that as well. So in this case, if we would like to browse to any storage right there, and you use this path there, and then you can write the logs there. So create another folder there, and then you can just provide that path there and you use it. So let me go right there, and in this storage, maybe we can go and create another file share, and here we will say file share and say SSIS logs. So create there, all good. Go back, and now what we are gonna do, we have to go back actually. So we're gonna go to login again, browse here, account. Now it's bringing SSIS logs folder there, and we are gonna hit OK. Now we should be all good here. You can create the connection string, connection managers, and all that. You can write the properties if you want to override it and all that. So in our case, we are not doing all that, but you have a lot of option to change the values for your SSIS package before it runs. Now we should be all good, and what it should do, we hit a debug, and it's gonna read the data from our table and write to the destination table. So if you see right there, there is no record as of now. And now if I can just go back here, wait for a few seconds, and it should be completing, and let's see if it completes successfully or with a failure. And now it is in progress, running our SSIS package. So our package did complete with failure. So let's go and take a look. So we are going to go an error. It is telling us, hey, your configuration issue. That's where the problem is. So what we need to do here, we need to go right there in the output, and it's going to show us a detail. So it is saying that fail to decrypt protection XML node. So password, you may now be tries to use this information. This could be your dts.password, key not valid into use. So looks like what we have done, we have to do a few things. Cannot open TechbrothersIT, request by login, and then with the IP not allowed. So see right there, so there are a lot of confusion happening. So it is saying this is more realistic error, because I'm seeing that maybe Azure Data Factory is trying to reach to the TechbrothersIT SQL DB, and that's where the problem is happening. So I need to go back here, go to my home, and go to the TechBrothers server, and here is my firewall and virtual networks. Click right there and give allow Azure services and resources to access this server. So I'm thinking that's what happening, because when my Azure Data Factory is trying to access this SQL Azure SQL database, that's where the problem is happening. So let's go back here. Now we execute again. Now let's see when this error happened, if the log were created. So meanwhile, let's go to the folder, shares, and here is our log, and see, yeah, log is being created. So we could have seen the logs here as well. So you can download and all those kind of things, and you can take a look right there. Okay, so in this case, now what we are here, we are all good. You can I will say download Azure Storage Explorer, and that really helps to work with these type of files and the storage. So that will be helpful, instead of you download it each time the log and then work on it. Now go back to the Azure Data Factory here, and this yeah, the pipeline is completed successfully. Now we go back and take a look on the data. So it should have written one record. So you see that it has written one record Amir. Now as of now everything is working. Now if how we would know that if our configuration is taken the right values. So if I go back to my folder here and go to this configuration, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this and make some changes. So let me right click here and say add open with search, open with another app. I want to go and open with the more apps, notepad. Okay, so I'm opening with notepad, and remember that we have this test 1 2 3. If I will change this to maybe my wrong username. Okay, so I'm changing this value. So I just why? Because I want to prove it. This package is reading these configuration values, and then using it. So I can go ahead and what I need to do, I need to go back here and go to the file share, and here I'm going to go to the file shares and re-upload. So I'm going to go to the package deployments and say upload, navigate to the configuration file that we just made changes, and now we should upload, override, yes, upload. Now if we run our pipeline and it's going to call our SSIS package, and it should fail. Why? Because our SSIS package is using a configuration file and we have given a wrong name. So our database does not have that name, and it's not going to be able to connect, so it should fail. So yeah, that proves that it does fail. So, and let's take a look, and what does it say? So we go back here and says key not valid for use in the specified state, and here is your key not valid, and somewhere login failed. See, for the user, TB user. So it is saying I'm using the TB user there, but you have changed that username there, so that's the problem, right? So you can go further, read all the logs there, and find out more details. But we know that what happened here. Now, if we go back and fix our configuration file and re-upload, what's going to happen? Now it's going to just work fine. Open with Notepad, and now we provide a correct name. So what was that? Our password actually. Sorry, guys. When I was saying test 123 $sign. So when I was saying all the time a user, it's not user. I changed actually the value for the password. So that's why it was. So see, if I need to change the user, I need to change this guy right here. And I changed the password in the previous. So my bad. So but I'm changing one of the value just to let you know. We are using two variables. One is our password and one is our username. So I change the password. Okay. So don't hate me for that. It's okay. We are human. We make mistakes when we speak, and sometimes we have a lot of things in our mind, and we keep working on those. So re-upload this. Now this time our package, configuration file has correct password, and our package is going to read that password, and it should be able to reload the data. So the table already have one record there, so I'm going to let it be, and it's going to write another one. So there should be two records now. See right there? So it's completed successfully. So let's go back, and it's still showing queued, but it has been completed. So I have seen that it does happen. So see right there, output, you can see it does not show you a whole lot of information here, honestly. So right there, so having log is helpful, because that's where kind of here you're gonna see like, oh, package has been completed successfully, that's all, and how much time it took to complete and all that. But if you want to see detailed logs, errors, and all that, I have suggested you create that log information, and here now you can see that every time you run it, it creates a directory, and inside that directory the log, all those information is created. So there are multiple files created. You can take a look on those. So let's see if I don't know if I can go from here and edit, or I have to, yes, edit, and now I should be able to see some information. See right there. So all good right here. So you can see that. Also, let me see if I can. I every time I am what I was doing, I was uploading. So go to file share and go to the package deployment and go to the configuration file right there, and see if we can just edit here. So let me make it fail. What I'm gonna do here, instead of see all the way in this case, I'm trying to find a user, TB user. So right there, where is my user? I'm trying to read that information. Oh, right here. Yeah, this guy. So if I will say my wrong user, okay. So I hit save, and then it did save. And now if I run the package, what's gonna happen? It should fail. Then I will come back and correct it, and then it should run fine. So I don't have to reload the file every time. I believe it should I should be able to edit from there, and work from there as well. So the package did fail, and let's go ahead and take a look on the error. So we are here. It's in, yep, my wrong user. See, that's where it login failed for this guy. So that's what the problem is. Okay, so we go back here and we can fix right now. We have figured it out how to edit our config file here. It's pretty lengthy in a way because it's XML, and I'm gonna go back right now and call it TB user and now save it, and now we should be all good. So you guys well, when you will work on these pipelines, configuration, packages and all that, you will get expert. So our table has two records, and once we execute this, once this got completed, it should have three records and no error should be coming because now we have corrected our user. So same way, yeah, this looks good, and now it's all great here. So that's it. So you understand how exactly it works. So we have created the Azure SSIS IR, and we created the SSIS package in the old-fashioned way, where packages use package configuration files, and then how we can change the values by using the variables and using expressions and everything. And then finally we deploy those SSIS packages to the Azure file share and use the file packages, as well as we use the configuration file, and we also made the changes to the configuration file. So I will create another video where we will do the project deployment to the same type of thing, where instead of saying package deployment, we will do the project deployment, and then we will read those packages from the Azure file share. Thank you very much for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.